차 걸으면 또 들어야 돼요. 그래.
This way if you want to.
So for today's movement, we had a lot of moving pieces. We started out with towing the aircraft across the airfield to the perimeter fence. We then went on to crane lift the aircraft over the fence, towed the aircraft down the main base road, then proceeded to do a second crane lift to crane lift the A-10 onto its final resting place on the roundabout pad. It was a little more of a unfamiliar situation from a normal lift due to our first towing operation. We were on loose ground versus normal paved, so we had a little worried on if there were sinking conditions that may have happened. Luckily, the Army came out for our partners. They helped pave the ground, steamroll it, make sure it was nice, flat, level for us, so we had no issues with the ground there. So the teamwork went very well for today's movements. We had a lot of different agencies out here between the Army and the Air Force, from Osan to Kunsan to Camp Humphreys as well. But luckily we had different personnel who are familiar with crane lifting operations. We came together, we did safety briefings beforehand, and during every operation of the lift, we always maintained eye contact with each other, and if we couldn't hear each other through speaking, we always had hand signals that we clarified before time, whether it's stop, go, continue, and so on and so forth. We made sure every step and every person was familiar with their exact duties on what needed to be done. We also briefed every member on if there was any familiar or any situation that was unfamiliar or they thought to be unsafe, any member was allowed to stop operations. Then we would come together as a team, discuss, and press forward. So personally, I don't feel any problem or see any issue with an A-10 on an Army base. One, because here in Korea or here in South Korea, the U.S. Forces commander is Army, but he also leads the Air Force units, the Air Force bases, everything. So everyone is under that umbrella. And with that, this is kind of shows the history of our role in Korea. So whether it's Army, whether it's Air Force, anyone coming onto Camp Humphreys can see a part of the history of the Joint Forces Coalition that came to Korea to help forces.
I enjoyed the movement because we did it early, so it was awesome to kind of get it together and get the Army guys together with us. I definitely enjoyed working with Sergeant Hugh and the Army folk over there. They made my life easier as far as trying to get everything done in a timely manner, as well as making sure that we're doing everything correctly. But the overall communication was awesome. The overall project was awesome, and then just there was some time where we really needed them and we needed the manpower, and the Army's got it. So what occurred today was a chain of events that was outside the norm. So obviously we don't tow down gravel. We wouldn't tow an aircraft down gravel, but we did it. And then craning it and stuff like that, those are out of my norm. We worked with crash recovery today, and that's within their norm. For me, it's not, but it was awesome to get out there, see how an aircraft is craned from start to finish, get our Army guys out there helping us, and making sure we're doing everything that to get this aircraft on this pad in its final resting condition. Well, Army and Air Force hand in hand. So Army is out there on the front lines, and this is close air support. So it's befitting of an aircraft like this to be over here on this Army base and really show Army and Air Force are hand in hand working together. As a whole, it was an amazing team effort. There was almost no miss in communication. You could say whatever you wanted to the Army and they understand, and then as well, Air Force to Air Force, and then just crash recovery to normal Fighter Generation Squadron guys. And it was, it was an amazing time, and everybody was on par, everybody was on point, making sure that we're working together closely, making sure that we're staying safe, making sure that we get here in a timely fashion. This is bittersweet for me. This is my baby. This is, something that I've cherished and started on this aircraft 6 years ago, and I enjoyed every bit of it. I've enjoyed this whole thing. The gun, everything. It's a nice mission set. It's a crazy mission set, and to see it all end it's a little bit of a pain in my heart, but it's nice to know that it was part of something that was amazing and something that will go on forever on this base. So.
today was a very important day for us to join, cooperate with every service members from the Air Force to Cap to the garrisons. This is the final resting place for the last A-10 on the peninsula, and it was graciously donated to us by 7th Air Force. And for us involved multi-units and organizations for this complex operation was very eventful and very successful. Yeah, very complex operations. It involved shutting down the airfield, Pacific Thirds Avenues, other tenant units here on the installation. Starting from the airfield itself, a crane operation is very risky, involving multiple moving parts, being able to lift a 26,000-pound aircraft from one point to another, bring it onto the road, and also involving towing it down. It's not every day that you get to tow down an A-10 on Pacific Thirds Avenue, right in front of the doorsteps of CFC headquarters, but we got it done. And then eventually here to the roundabout itself, being able to lift it up from the road onto the roundabout involves another complex operations, which is also involving a lot of risks being implemented to mitigate it, and putting it down on the roundabout is the final risk. Experience was great. Joint cooperation between all the other services. This is our first time working with 25th FGS and also the 37 Maintenance, but working with other tenant organizations and directorates and garrisons. We do that every day, from the airfield to DES, DPW, and the safety office. But being able to work with other services was very successful, and I will do it again. We're very honored to be working in cooperation with these other services. We love it. It's an A-10. Who doesn't like Warthog, right? Being on the Army installation, the Army's Camp Humphreys is home to USFK headquarters, so it's very pertinent that it's here in Camp Humphreys because of the fact that Army Air Force is also part of the units under USFK.